session would actually be Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, the role of the accountancy profession in building Africa's future. AU Agenda 2063. It's a novel area, and as accountants, we discovered that we discovered that we need to make ourselves familiar with some of these terms, and some of us are just hearing it and we don't really know. That's why we brought Mr. Temitope Samagbeli to come and demystify what AFCFTA is and the opportunities essentially that professionals like us can benefit in these whole arrangements of simplifying trade, removing trade barriers. I want to believe that we'll have a good session, but briefly, I will just go through a brief profile. I'm not to read his profile, but I will attempt to read a brief profile to introduce our speaker for the day. Mr. Temitope Samagbeli, FCA FCCI, is a partner in charge of tax and regulatory services. He's energy sector leader, West Africa, Ernst & Young. He leads the provision of tax and regulatory services to companies engaging energy, construction, real estate, manufacturing, power and utilities, maritime, aviation, and logistics business. He currently heads the business tax services for EY operations in West Africa. He has over 22 years of experience in professional tax policy compliance, tax administration. He provides tax advisory and compliance work for both local and multinational companies. And he's led discussions in various tax authorities on the resolution of tax disputes using relationship with Nigerian tax authorities. He has been on secondment with FIRS, and he assisted a lot in some projects here. Notable among them is a draft of the National Tax Policy document, the FIRS Code of Ethics document, then some training school materials for tax inspectors, among other things. He focuses more on tax incentives, reliefs. He currently assists various companies to obtain pioneer status incentives from the Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, and he has assisted several companies to review their eligibility for companies claim of certain government incentives. Our speaker for the day is a speaker that is a trainer that trains in various capacities. I'll mention a bit of some of the fora that he has at the 5th Annual Tax Conference, West African Union of Tax Inspectors, Nigerian Governors Forum, ECOWAS, GIZ. He is an active member of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria faculty. At a point in time, he served as the interim registrar of the CITN Tax Academy, former vice dean of the International Tax Faculty of CITN. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. He holds a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, MBA from Edinburgh Business School, Scotland, and above all, he is a fellow of Ican and fellow of Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. I want us to welcome Mr. Temitope Samagbeli to dive into the business of the day, demystifying what ACFTA means, and let us drink from his wealth of experience along this line. You are welcome, sir, Mr. Temitope. You have the floor, sir.
You have the floor, sir. You need to unmute yourself.
Mr. Temitope, kindly unmute yourself.
My assistant in the house just briefed me from the production room. So that's where my daughter is currently listening to what we are doing. I will say good afternoon to the entire house.
Yes.
I shared my slide with you.
Yes.
Are you able to present it, or I have to do it from here?
Should I do from here, or will give you the right to do it from your side? Which will you prefer, sir?
Okay, you may have to give me the right to do it from here.
Have the right. Do that, sir. Oh. Do that, sir.
Okay.
Members should put themselves while the session is going on. We don't want any disruption. What you need to do is to actually go to the chat box if you have any questions or contribution to make, and also ensure that you register your name, membership number, and email address, and the visit you belong to. We want to enjoy these topics, and we will not condone any disruption. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Temitope,
just a minute. Let me just check it out here. Let me get it out here. So can you please present it from your end?
Okay, I'll do that.
One night again. 199. 199.
Please put it on presentation mode.
Yeah, already.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to the entire house. Just as introduced, my name is Temitope Samagbe. Please do not mind my voice. Got some cold. Right. I want to plead with the chairman of this particular district, my very good friend of so many years, Mr. Kolawole Fatai Bisiriyu, to please permit me to stand on the existing protocols. Existing protocol to the effect that I greet my fellow professionals in the house. I salute the erudite scholars that we have in this place today. This presentation is not for me alone, but it is for us to share. Because we are professionals, everywhere I've gone to, even after presenting, it happens to be that I also learn from all such presentation. We have a very simple topic ahead of us today, and I want us to please pay rapt attention. The African Continental Free Trade Area, first, that is Africa. You have an agreement, a document that talks to saying we all work together. What is the role of the accountancy profession? The role of you and the role of myself, whether as individual or as firms, in developing the future of this great continent. That is just it. Now, the goal of AU is just to transform all the nations in the continent into peaceful place to live in, into a very good democratic setting, and also an innovation powerhouse, which will aim to mean us being a global player, not only within the confines of Africa, but also to help us to be able to be very competitive out there. And there is a timeline here. We're looking at 50 years. It all started in 2013. It started in 2013. Now, because it started in 2013, we have up to 2065, sorry, 2063 to achieve these set goals. Ladies and gentlemen, please go back, please go back, please go back. Please go back to the first slide. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not anybody's fault if we, as Africans, if you and I decide to remain where we were some 100 years back. Ladies and gentlemen, things are happening in India. Things are happening in China. Things are happening in Europe. Things are happening in the Americas. Nobody will be blamed if nothing happens in Africa. So we are going through this discussion. Remember, I said we're talking about a geographical setting, group of people that have come together to saying, let us work together. You and I now, being a subset of that particular enclave, chartered accountants, professionals, highly qualified, of international standard and national reputation. How do we build our mother continent? That is the summary of what we'll be talking about today. Next slide. The objective, so the background, I've spoken about the background. Now, the objective essentially is very important for us to know what the objectives are. Inclusive economic growth. We want to carry everybody along. Mind you, you cannot carry everybody along. Like what happened during last week in Niger, where there was a coup. Tell me, who will carry such a country along? Instead of everybody to be focusing on advancement, on economic growth, on integration, on sustainable development. It is not possible to carry everybody along. But what is very, very important, what is crucial to you and I, is that at least majority are carried along. I know I'm talking to chartered accountants in Nigeria. Some of us may be ACCA, converted into ACA. Some of us may be ACA, converted into ACCA. But all you need to do for you to prevent you and I from being a dumping ground is what I will be advising you to do today. What you need to do first, just to know the urgency of this matter, is for you to go to a supermarket in many African countries. Supermarkets in many African countries. I will not advise you to go to the very big ones like the Spar or ShopRite. Go to the supermarket nearest to you or nearest to you. You discover that our country, you will discover that this continent is boosted by a plethora of imported goods, imported products everywhere. Can you imagine? Toothpick coming from China. How did we get here? How did we get here? One of my friends' wife imports handkerchief into this country, containers from China. How did we get here? You have tissue and milk coming from the Netherlands. The question again is, how did we get here? You have sugar from France. You have chocolate from Switzerland. I am from Ondo State. I know the stories of the farms in between Ore and Akure. I know the farms in Oshun, where you have solid plantations of cocoa. The scientists will call it Theobroma cocoa. All that comes in from the Switzerland. They move them from here, take them to Switzerland, and return them back to us, just like the case of petroleum products. I think we should cover our faces as Africans and as Nigerians. I am not limiting this to the streets of Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, Abuja. I am also talking about Johannesburg. I'm talking about Accra. I'm talking about Kenya. I'm talking about Egypt. Those supermarkets carries all these things. Matchbox coming from Sweden. Yet, many of our products here, what you produce here, these are things that we can produce and even overproduce in Morocco, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in South Africa, in Rwanda. We can produce all those things.
I can't meet you.
We have
It's
the
been
industrial
recorded.
base to do so. How do we get there? Those are some of the things. I will not be talking about manufacturing. You are an accountant, I'm an accountant. I'll be telling you about things that you have to do. So why do retail source halfway? Why do we not source for businesses amongst ourselves? Why do we not source for businesses amongst ourselves? It is very important as Africans to do all that. Now, it was signed in Rwanda in 2018, and it's meant to create a tariff-free, that's the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Tariff-free. Tariff alone is killing us. You see, what so many of us do not understand is that most of those products have been heavily subsidized where they are produced or where they were produced. And when you ship in a container load of those products into Africa, right, you are shipping in a container load of unemployment. You are shipping out container load of foreign exchange. Now, that is the basis, or that is the base of the problem that you and I are facing today. Now, imagine the 55 African countries. Let's say 55 don't come together. Let us say only 50 come together to work together, covering about 1.2 billion people. 1.2 billion people with a GDP of $2.5 trillion. Honestly, we will be on top of the world. Can we move to the next slide, please? We will be on top of the world. So this is the agreement. No, can you move up? Can you move up? Just one more slide, sincere apologies. No. Start from the beginning. I'm talking about the third slide. Give me the third slide, the third slide. Slide, okay, let's leave it here. The objective of this session, after all the stories that I have said, is for me to give you that AU 2063 agenda, for you to understand what our leaders are looking at, for you to appreciate also the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Okay? Now, the most important bit of it for me is to look at what you and I as accountants will benefit from these particular opportunities. It's not limited to being an opportunity. There are also threats there. And if you don't carry it well, there are accountants in Ghana, in the Gambia, in Kenya, in South Africa, always willing and ready to come and eat from your pie. I don't want us to start complaining some years down the line that some people moved our cheese. I do not want us to complain some years down the line that South Africans are all over the place. Because if we don't put the right infrastructures in place, then it becomes a major challenge for you and I. So we are going to be exploring the significance of our profession. Okay? The significance of our profession in this matter of discourse. Ladies and gentlemen, there are small countries in Africa. On this platform alone, let's say we have about 225 people currently. Maybe some people were not able to attend. Let's put it that we have 500 accountants in these districts. Some African countries may not have up to this. And what some of them are gearing to doing is to saying, let us move to where you have the big markets. And where are the big markets? The biggest market is in Nigeria. Because where you have people, you have businesses. Next slide, please. So let's go to slide 4. So the benefits, the overview and the benefits, I've spoken about some of these. But let me just hint. What we want to do is to increase the inter-African trade and eliminate trade barriers. You are eliminating trade barriers. You are increasing trade between African countries. See, by all standards, at least within the confines of Africa, we are not doing very badly. When you go to some locations in Africa, you will pity Africa. But the key thing here is Africa very soon will now be seen as a borderless location. How can we achieve as Nigerians first, before being African, not to be a dumping ground for services and for products coming out of France? If you recall, Nigeria is, I think, covered to the west by Benin Republic, somewhere around northeast, northwest, you have, I think, Mali or somewhere. Right on top, you have Niger Republic. Chad is to your northeast. And to the east, we have Cameroon. Under us, we have Bight of Guinea. See all those countries that I mentioned. Bight of Guinea is not a country. All those countries that I mentioned, they are French colonies. Do not think that they are not talking to France to become a manufacturing hub where France will help them to develop them with respect to products and with respect to services, which will now make us to be at a net loss position. Nigerians, government, please wake up. We're talking about job creation due to increased trade flow, which will lead to increased production. While we are sleeping, all these countries are working. What I've showed here is what is in the master plan, right? What I've showed here is what is in the master plan. It will now not be anybody's fault if you decide not to take advantage of the provisions in the master plan. Gentlemen and ladies, it is also to promote sustainable development. What do we mean by sustainable development? You're not talking about a one-off thing. You want to look at your area of competence. What do you have? We're saying enough of shipping out goods, shipping out raw materials, enough of shipping out raw materials like timber, like tin, like cocoa, like cotton. Let us add value to them here and be able to start shipping them down to Europe, down to other African countries. You want to increase African competitiveness. Of course, it has started. It has started. The increase in levy placed by the Finance Act for goods coming outside Africa into Nigeria. Okay? Maybe if that goes up very well, they will see it more. But you don't want to put all such and now become the enemy of yourself. That is very, very important. Slide 5, please. Now, the 5th slide will show you clearly the key features. And we see, you can read this 1,000,001 times. The key features of the agreement essentially revolves around trade facilitation. This is settlement mechanism, talking about service trade, talking about market access, talking about customs operations, and talking about rule of origin. Now, China recently had a program for Africa, right? You now have Russia some days ago for giving some debts to Africa. You also heard them say that they will support some poor African countries or some African countries with grains. You need to know that there is no free lunch anywhere. And I was glad at one of the responses given by one of the African leaders to the effect that Africa is not looking for handouts. Come give us the technology. But nobody is going to give you the technology on the platter of nothing. African leaders should come together to look at all this and come up with, I'm talking about Nigerian leaders now, because we are in Nigeria. If you want to churn out more African or more Nigerian accountants, this is the time to start doing it so that we can have services to be selling to other African countries. Right here in my office at home, I've listed about 30 different things that you and I, as services that we can sell, but they all come at a very high price. They all come at a very high price. So my religion is Christianity. Yours may not be Christianity, but I believe in the fact that we are one and we can make good process together. And that's why I will say from my holy book, it says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. When I was given this topic, all I was looking for were opportunities for me and my firm. There are things that so many of us have overlooked. Can we go to the next slide? And you will see them. Next slide, please. Slide 6 now. Don't worry, we are almost there. You see, talking about the AU agenda, a 7-point agenda. It is preparatory to 2063. Now, this is what you need to know about this. You see, I do not like too much Turenchi, as in too much grammar. Integrated continent, politically united, based on the idea of Pan-Africanism. Well done. Good corporate governance, good democracy, peaceful and secured Africa. Fantastic. Africa has a strong goal to be able to influence global players and partners. That is very important. Please hold on to number 7. People-centered development, harnessing potentials of women and of youth. Hold that one too. The sixth one, a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. From all these 7, some are for the public sector, some are for the private sector, meaning some are for government officials, some are for you and I, not government officials. But I know we have government officials here. Some of these are good to have. We need a very strong accounting profession to be able to achieve all this. Our goals and aspirations, preparatory to when we just open our doors, and the dates for some that will still be alive then, I believe so many people on this platform will still be alive. At this time, we want to achieve all these inspirational goals. But as chartered accountants, what is your loss in all this? Give me slide 7. Give me slide 7. The thing about it is for African continent, our role as professional accountants will be to facilitate cross-border transactions. Our role will be to enhance financial reporting and transparency. Our role will be to strengthen corporate governance. Our role will be also to support small and medium-scale enterprises and businesses. What, as a person, do you have to do to achieve all this? I will tell you that there are things that you have known in the past. And that is why I'm very happy that life, laws, regulations are changing periodically these days. I remember the days of SAS. I remember the days where laws really do not change. Talking about tax laws. Statement of accounting standards remain like permanent. Fellow accountants, open your minds to the fact that we now live in a very global world. We now live in a very global world. See, and I'll be frank with you. We have suffered. Sorry, I'm hearing a re-echo. So, we have suffered. Sorry, what could be happening? So we have suffered from the UK, Canada, the Americas, Dubai, as a result of Japa syndrome. As a result of Japa syndrome. If we don't develop the accounting frontier here, God forbid, for Benin Republic to start coming in here to pack our people. God forbid, for some other smaller countries to start coming here to pack our people. And what do I mean? Let us create an enabling environment. Most of the people that left for various reasons. If in our country, first in Nigeria, we're able to enhance financial reporting and transparency, and I know all these things are now governed by international rules, best practices. But there are businesses for these young accountants, for you and I to work in. There may not be need for them to leave Nigeria or Cote d'Ivoire. But there may not be need for them to leave Nigeria for Kenya. There may not be need for them to leave Nigeria for Botswana. That is what I am saying. For you to facilitate cross-border investments, you need additional knowledge. You need additional knowledge, meaning what you know as an accountant in Nigeria, limited to Nigeria, is not enough to put you out there and to make you to be very, very competitive. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa is opening up. Jobs are coming. Jobs are opening up. Opportunities are coming. Big opportunities are coming. If I were a government organization, Ministry of Education, this is the time for me to start helping the accountants, creating avenue for them to develop. Because even when they develop and they go out there, they will be able to repatriate foreign direct investments. They probably will be able to send money in to create things here. They probably will be able to send money in to their people to build houses. They probably will be able to do so many of those things. Very soon, I will tell you. So let's go to slide 8. I have just like about 14 slides. So we need more of this now. So many of us are acting and are working in silos. Why do you think those big 4 firms, the big 8 firms of the world, why do you think they are prospering? They are prospering because they are running a successful partnership, which did not start today. The founding fathers of those organizations discovered the need to say, as an accountant, as a business operator, I cannot do it alone. Imagine if somebody has knowledge in international tax, another one, IFRS mastery, another one, preparation of IPOs, another one, internal control, and they are just scattered and not coming together to work together to form solid partnerships. There is no way they can make it easily. So we need, as accountants, please take note of this. We need, as accountants, to collaborate the more. We need to partner. So we're saying, even across Africa, we need to partner. AU is saying it. The World Bank is saying it. I don't know whether national governments are working on it. But the relevance is to saying policy formulation will be fantastic. We'll be able to strengthen our institutional capacity, and we'll be able to develop institutional framework. We'll be able to promote. Once we can come together and collaborate, as you know, collaboration is at different levels. When you are coming as if you are coming to equity. So your hands, your minds must be pure. There's got to be public-private partnership, big time. Without collaboration among Africans, even within Africans, as chartered accountants, it will be very difficult. But I'm saying, even before you go to the African level, you have so many of you on this platform running one-man firm. You can talk to person A, person B, birds of the same feather, flocking together, building yourself, coming together to form stronger bonds, which will make you to be known for something. You know, the most dangerous thing for an accountant is not to be known for something. You must be known for something. Now they want to talk about statutory accounting. Oh, I know Mr. Fayemi. They want to talk about some certain due diligence, financial due diligence. They know those that have invested. But what some of us have done is that we have not invested enough in ourselves. As a person, what is the budget that you maintain for yourself as a chartered accountant for training? Your budget for training on an annual basis. You see those big four firms of one, and the next big four, they spend massively on training. Give me the next slide, please. Yes, it is come with its challenges. It is coming, sorry, with its challenges. It has come with its challenges, but there are also opportunities. There are also opportunities. The challenges: you need to build capacity as a chartered accountant. You need to know what is happening in Ghana, in Benin Republic, because you are no longer working in silos. You are no longer alone. The man in Ghana can decide to ship in some things into Nigeria, talking about products. We now have a borderless system. You, as a consultant, can decide to fly into that location. And see, the way it works is you have a company in Nigeria, you're already talking to them about something. And you know that they have a base in Ghana. Nothing stops you from peeping into Ghana. If this is well managed, if this is well done, ladies and gentlemen, you will definitely profit from it. But if you leave it to Kisera Sera, whatever will be, it may not come so easily. Next slide. I will tell you about the things that you will do in terms of services. Leave what I have said before. Let us focus on this. What are the real opportunities? If you want to write, you may write. What are the real opportunities? And after this, I will tell you what you have to do to get those opportunities. So many things are happening in the business and financial world, so there is a need for experts in financial modeling. Those conventional days of just signing off on accounts, yes, they are still here, but they may not be the one to put the big monies in your pockets. A lot is happening between countries. So you have the cross-border transaction structuring. Under cross-border transaction structuring, that is when you can earn dollars. You can earn pounds, okay? And when you earn dollars, when you earn pounds, that puts you a little above the exchange wahala. The field of international taxation is growing. There will be need for organizations to merge. There will be need for organizations to be acquired. There will be need for forensic accounting. There will be need, I've spoken about statutory audits, let's leave that. Mastery of IFRS is very important. The relevance cannot be overemphasized. You have foreign trade policy advice. Foreign trade policy advice. When we say foreign trade policy advice, what you know, it is what you know that you can sell. You have things around internal control that you can learn and be a master of. You have financial due diligence. You have support service. Now, we've spoken a lot about fintech. How do you support them as a chartered accountant? How do you support them? How do you support the software developer at the point of developing, at the point of testing, and at the point of implementing? That is what most of you don't know. You just say, I am supporting a software developer. As accountants, you need to be able to face your projects. Just don't dump everything inside one basket. You saw what I did? I said it at the point of developing. What does it entail? There is a fee for that. There is a fee during testing. There is also a fee for implementation. But most of you just lump everything together and collect maybe $5,000 instead of you calling for $4,000 for phase 1, $3,000 for phase 2, $5,000 for phase 3. Accountants, please let us think. You did not earn that certificate for the fun of it. There are things around corporate finance. You have direct tax, you have indirect tax, you have customs. Those are big things. Because we are now running a borderless situation or a borderless area, why can't the payroll of Nigerian headquartered companies be run by the chartered accountants out of Nigeria? If you are not quick to yanking it to yourself as a chartered accountant or as a professional in Nigeria, South Africa is there waiting. In fact, know that most advanced countries used the developing world to develop their own countries because you failed, you and I failed to take advantage of certain things. What about business setup services? As accountant, you can do it. What about, I'm just thinking, subsidy facilitation, helping governments? Oh, you think some of those things coming from China, that they are not subsidized? So how will I prepare it here? So it means we need people that can help advise governments on how they can be very efficient and effective in building clusters, business clusters, factory clusters, how manufacturing entities can come together. Incentive. Yes, incentive plays a very great role, but ladies and gentlemen, you can help facilitate all such. You also have loan syndication, but be careful so that not come up. You also have loan syndication, but be careful upon you. Great governance. But what some of us have failed to do, which is very, very important, is that we have failed to show up in the area of thought leadership. We have failed to show up in the area of thought leadership. Please give slide 11. Give me slide 11. I hope we are together. No need to respond, please. There are things. How will you get all this? While doing this tech, I read and I said to myself, what do I need to do? Okay? I said to myself, what do I need to do to develop very well? Now, your development is going to be at a faster rate. And I'm telling you, start today. You have erudite scholars in the house that will tell you that they've read. See, gone are the days where your library, okay, and the one at the other side should be gathering dusts. You need to be known for something. And when I say you need to be known for something, I mean you need to be known for something. I'm saying post-qualification.
English colleagues, I think we're having issues with Startupware's connection.
Oh, sorry,
join us shortly.
Sorry, I am back.
Okay.
On the
Continue,
second
sir.
channel.
5 minutes, sir.
Yes, I am back. Okay, so what I'm saying, sorry, I'm using two systems. What I'm saying, post-qualification courses matters a lot. What do I mean by post-qualification courses? Further study of your local environment and your international space. You need to further study your local environment and the international space. What do I mean? Do not stop studying. Do not stop studying.
Recording in progress.
So I'm going back to
Progress.
You can hear me? Middle? I hope I'm not echoing. So, sorry for the glitch.
Okay, Mr.
Now-
Temitope, are you
Yes.
round up in the next 5 minutes, sir?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Thank you.
I'm almost
Thank you,
there.
sir.
So post-qualification and further study do not stop studying. The second one is development of practice area. Do not be a master of all. Do not be a master of all. As much as possible, do not be a master of all. I want you to specialize such that when we are looking for things on IPO, we come to Olusegun Ishola. When we are looking for fintech, you go to Motolani Abayomi. When you are looking for direct tax, you go to Bisiriyu Kolawole. You need to do that. And I'm so glad at what we are doing. And my advice is, if possible, this can even be done physically. That is what networking will do. Networking will help you as an accountant. Networking will help you as an accountant. And I know we do that for the MCP, the continuous professional education. I know that we do that for some of our conferences. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have an option between virtual and physical, please go physical. COVID has come, COVID has gone. It has modified the way we do things. Okay? Now, continuous development is very, very important. We have learned so many things. I decided to focus on you, the accountant. I decided to focus on you, the professional, because you are the one that will make up the firm. So what you have learned, congratulations. You may need to unlearn them, and you may need to relearn newer things that will help you as a professional to make it in this new world that we are going to. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a big thank you to the organizers of this program, and I want to thank you all. And I hope that you've gotten one or two charges. Thank you very much, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm true. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Temitope. Distinguished professionals, members of IGDF and guests on the call, can we appreciate him? Even if for a few seconds, let's unmute and appreciate him for a job well done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. We really
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
This is
so,
my opener.
yeah,
Thank you very much,
thank you very
sir.
much.
Few
Thank
questions.
you. So,
Thank you, Sama.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm greeting you from Botswana.
Nice job.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr.
okay,
Shola, over to you, sir.
if you have if anyone has any question, kindly raise your hand. I can see some hands up already. I want to believe it's question. If it's not question, kindly lower it. If you have a question, kindly raise your hand or put it in the chat box. I will read it out. What we will do is take few questions.
Something else, but I am
So, if you have any question, can we raise our hands?
Let's call on people that raise their hand first.
Okay, we'll take the questions, then Mr. Temitope will deal with them in batches. Let's take the first three. Tony Silva.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Isumi Anthony Silva, MB 54560. Thank you, Mr. Moderator and the man who just spoke. We appreciate. Thank you so much. My question is one. The first one is what this AFBD development we are trying to look at, what are the financial consequences? What is the contribution that is expected financially from Nigeria and Nigerians? And then that leads me to, the reason why I'm asking this is because I discovered that Nigerians in our importation, we pay up, I think 5% or either 5 or 7% to ECOWAS. And then I have not seen the accountability of ECOWAS on that regard. So that then lead me to question 2. Why is it that all these, whether Africa Development and ECOWAS, why are they not giving us accountability? And why is we, the accountant, Ican is not requesting on a constant basis issue of accountability from this institution, this foreign or regional body institution? I just want you to give us a little breakdown on that. Then the other one is a issue of ethical standard concerning our leaders in Africa. You mentioned Niger, for example, and when you observe what happened in Niger, you discover that the citizens were happy about the coup. Coup is not good, but they are happy. That means because the politicians were not doing well. In fact, they were detrimental to the citizens, and that was why they were happy about the coup. I'm not saying coup is good. Why is it that ICANN or accountant like you, who are at the forefront, are not speaking to our politicians on the consequences of how they will be able to build and things like that to fix the infrastructure that will make Nigerians or Africa to come up? Because if you want Africa to develop, you are saying you have to stop importation. If there are no infrastructure or ground, there is no way local industries will be able to produce and compete even locally or with international communities. Why are we not speaking to them to build up infrastructure or subsidize the terms of production, which is one of them, let's say power supply, so that they will be able to facilitate local production and then break into the international market? I want to stop it at that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anthony.
Very much. Thank you.
Any other question? I can't see any hands up. Okay, so
can I just quickly?
Okay, Mr. Anthony, can you answer that question, sir?
So there are limits sometimes to what you can do as an accountant. And I will make reference to what recently happened when one of us, a member of the institute, was appointed to champion a particular policy for this current government. I want to tell you about the sacrifice of an accountant. What did our member do because of the perceived independence and conflict of interest? The guy resigned from a firm that he has worked with for over 20 years. Look, accountants are contributing. Accountants are speaking out. And I will tell you that I'm aware that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria do submit papers to government agencies, to the National Assemblies. They attend sessions where matters concerning them, matters concerning the public with respect to accounting and finance matters are discussed. Okay, now democracy and politics is somewhat different from what we do as professionals. As professionals, we are supposed to stand out always. And that is why you have seen us advise government on different forms. Okay? Now, the other bit of it is this. Infrastructure. It is not a function of the accountant to provide that. You and I know. But believe that you and I can start writing in terms of advising governments. Because with all these things, if we are lacking in infrastructural development, it will still be difficult for us to take maximum advantage of this. Talking about the 5% ECOWAS levy accountability, got so good, or other levies. The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is currently the chairman or the president of ECOWAS. Maybe in his time, he will be able to do something with respect to accountability. But some of these at a global level, having governments of different regions come out to say, this is what we want to do. This is how you report in public accounting. Look, it is not rocket science, honestly. But it's just that all this attitude of nobody can hold me. I will do what I have to do. That is the challenge. There are ethical standards, and you and I are supposed to maintain them. Even in the political world, they have their standards. But the key thing is, are they following those standards? Right? Are they following those standards? If they are not following that standards, it will be difficult for the accountants in the name of Auditor General, Accountant General, and Head of Accounts to come out and start speaking. It will be very, very difficult. So, and I heard you, we should start speaking. So if you talk about the 5%, the levy, or some other levy, who are we going to ask about it? So there are still issues around the structures that we have in and around Africa. So let me just stop it there. Thank you. Do we have any other question or hand up?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Temitope. We want to appreciate you on behalf of the Model District. We was quite an insightful session, and I'll hand over to my chairman for the proper vote of thanks. But from our own desk, we say silver and gold we don't have, but we have a little appreciation package for you. We get across to you, sir, in the course of the week.
Just clapping is good. Just clap for me. Just the clap is okay for me. So whatever you are
doing that.
So whatever you are doing, I will say a big thank you to you. I appreciate this bit. I'm a chartered accountant, so also my wife. Okay. But the thing about it is, I will not accept anything, blah, blah, blah. Please add it back, whatever you are giving me. Add it back to the development of this great.
It is not cash.
Please.
Oh, gosh, who will give you something? Who will give you something for where? I beg. We will give you a clap, no money, so don't worry. Thank you so much.
Over to you, my chairman, sir.
So before Augusta Magbeyi go, somebody is raising a concern on the platform, and it's from Ashigbu Shinoye, membership number 56550. The question is, my worry on this kind of long-term agenda or vision is that when they are often abandoned along the line, what concrete measures are being put in place by AU in the short term to ensure that the long-term vision 2063 is realized?
Okay, so that question is founded. I remember in the 80s, Vision 20,000. There was Vision 20,000. There was Vision 2020. Maybe they became so tired. And I said, let's even push it far. What has happened on this particular one is that a mechanism has been put in place, which will be reported twice, that I'm aware of. I mean, once every 2 years to monitor growth. The thing about it is, if you are not doing it as Nigeria, Benin Republic is doing it. And you just discover that you wake up one day and you became a dumping ground. So everybody is awake to his or her responsibility. Everybody is awake to his or her responsibility. So that's what I would say. There is a tracking mechanism. Sorry, I'm seeing Olabode Kwesan. I salute you, sir.
Yeah.
Olabode Kwesan.
Yes, it's a pleasure, sir, seeing you. Longest time, my brother. You're doing very well.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Let me call on
Olabode Kwesan.
Let me call on our own.
Please reach out to me. Reach out to me, Mr. Olabode Kwesan.
Okay.
Dr. Bode Okutoke, to appreciate the paper presenter for a brilliant submission he has made today. And I look through all the presentation. We keep on increasing to the extent that we got to over 260 members to listen to us. Dr. Bode, kindly help us to appreciate the paper presenter. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, my able chairman, my IPC, and especially our special guest and speaker. On behalf of the ESCO and my chairman, he has directed me. You know, in civil service, he has directed.
Correct.
I want to say a big thank you to you for opening our eyes to opportunities. You see, at times people will know that there are opportunities in some place and then they will cover it and be eating it bit by bit. But for you to decide to share this with us, we want to say thank you. On behalf of all the members online and those that also viewed this recording, we want to say a big thank you to you. And we believe that if you have any question or clarification on this matter, we can always come back to you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
That's
Thank you so much, sir, for being with us for the past